Hey, I'm Foy Vance, and I'm here at Bluesfest with the AU review.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, and welcome back to Australia.
Nice to be back.
Wasn't,
Nice to be anywhere, really.
wasn't too long ago that you were here. What were your experiences like at your tour at the end of last year? And
Great.
How's Bluesfest been treating you?
Okay, so in chronological order, last year, it was my first time in Australia, and I got introduced to Smash on toast, which I'm guessing you know about, right? Avocado and feta cheese, bit of olive oil, lemon juice, poached egg on top. So that was a revelation. That was a revelation.
Have you taken that home with you?
I completely have, and I'll tell you what, I've introduced it to everybody in the band, so they're all making it. That was great. And Bluesfest so far is so good. You know, it's clearly a very cool festival. You know, there's a lot of lovely people here, and I've got a couple of friends playing this year, so I'm looking forward to seeing them and just enjoying the sun and being here. Full stop.
How's the Irish skin dealing with the heat?
You know what? I've got a lot of melanin. It's like Hammy, my drummer, who's not here at the minute. He's a big redhead, so sun and him don't work so well. But sun and me, we can deal with it. You know.
Fair enough. Well, the sun has certainly come out for you here in Australia for Bluesfest, and it's your second time here, as mentioned, for your debut record. And you know, now that you're almost a year into that sort of process of touring that record around, how are you feeling about it? How do you feel about the mark that's made?
With regard to the mark that it's made, I don't know, to be honest with you. I guess my take on the record is that it's an articulate record in the sense that it was born out of a very real place. I lived in London for 7 years, and I moved from London up to the Highlands of Scotland, and in that move, that was pretty much the catalyst for the record. It was like, the stillness of the Highlands, the peace, and living in London. London's a beautiful place, man. It really is, but it's very busy, and I think if you're 19, it's perfect. I'm not 19. I'm a 39-year-old father, and the Highlands suited me better. So, but the second I arrived there, and the stillness of it, the peace of the place, just really affected me. Really affected me, actually. And that's where the album was written. I'd set out to make a very different album, actually. But when I moved up there, I was saying to the guy before, not to put too fine a point on it, but it was like I'd moved from the humdrum of the industry to the haunts of ancient bards. Like that's where Robbie Burns wrote the Burks of Aberfeldy, and loads of poets came through that way, actually. And there's a sense of that, really. There's a sense of peace there and stillness. It's a beautiful part of the world, beautiful. And if it wasn't for moving there, I don't think I would have the record I have.
Would you do it the same way again for a second record?
No. What's the point in that? You know what I mean? No. I mean, I wouldn't set out to.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if it happens naturally that it comes out a similar record, then all right. But I think with music you have to listen. Listening is the key. It's the key. Like you have to. You can't set out to make a record. I know lots of people that friends of mine that are writers, and they go in with a specific idea of what they want to write and why they want to write it, and I appreciate that medium and that art. Fair play to them. But for me, it's like, no, it has to come from a real place. It has to has to be what you're feeling or what you're thinking or what you're, you know. So whether the next record sounds like this, you know, the last one, you know.
So what is next for you? What's after Bluesfest?
After Bluesfest, I'm doing a gig in Sydney with a girl called Grace Porter, who I've heard lots of great things about, and I've not listened to her stuff yet, but I will. But I've heard she's great, so I'm doing that, and then I'm back to London for a couple of days with you know, to hang out, and then I'm going on a tour in America with a band called Need to Breathe for about a month and a half, and then I'm going to live out in LA for a couple of months and just write and I guess, you know, get ready for the next record.
That's a very different setting to where you were before.
Yeah, well, you know, this is the thing, you know, you gotta roll with it, really, haven't you? You know, you know, I'm not orchestrating the living in LA thing. It's just happened naturally. I've got some friends out there that we're gonna write together, and maybe a record will come out of it. Maybe it won't. I mean, who knows? You know, who knows? But I'm gonna spend some time there and see how we get on.
Well, we look forward to seeing what comes next, and hope you enjoy the rest of your time here in Australia.
Thank you, brother.